And I need just a few seconds more. Everything is green. Everything looks good. And the meeting is yours. Let me know if you need anything.
Fantastic. You've been listening to Ken Milburn from Merge Live, who is our new master of ceremonies for all Zoom calls to avoid any negative interactions on these calls. So thank you, Ken, for your help of getting this set up. We are going to call the Tuesday, August 18th Commerce Township Downtown Development Authority Board meeting to order. With that said, I'd like to move to item 1, approval of minutes. We do need to take roll call votes on anything. I would like someone to move to approve the minutes for the July 21st regular meeting.
Motion to
Approval of
approve the minutes. Susan Spelker.
Seconded by who?
Second, Jose.
Thank you. Ken, can you call the roll for me?
I can do that if you need me to, Mark.
Thank you.
Can you just
Sure.
remind me who's absent? Because I don't know whose numbers those are at the bottom.
I have a question. Did we lose Brian Winkler? I saw him earlier and I don't see him now.
He was in.
He was. Ken, can you let us know if you still see Brian Winkler?
I do not see him. There was an Eric in the waiting room. That name was not on my list.
Eric Nagler is a resident. He's a member of the public, so
Okay.
he's not on our list.
Sure.
Brian Winkler's lost, Missy, and David Smith, I see,
And
is
Kelly,
not present.
yeah, Kelly McDonald, who's with Goddard Schools, is dialed in. She's the 318 number, 248-318-2007.
Thank you.
Okay, so Ken, just watch for Brian Winkler to come back on, and Missy, you can go ahead without David Smith and without Brian Winkler.
Okay. So Spelker,
Aye.
Merkin,
Aye.
Matta,
Aye.
Lublin.
Luke, Dan, if you can hear us, press *6 to unmute. And if he doesn't, Missy, we're gonna just have to count him out of the vote on this one too.
Okay, that's fine. I'll move forward. Gotts.
Okay.
Gotts.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Hoy.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you. Motion to approve the minutes passes. We'll move to item 2, public comment. We do have public in the room. Ken, I am going to turn that over to you to handle public comment.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Stacy. Yeah, anyone that is online right now and would like to speak, please press *9 on your keypad, and we will be alerted that you would like to speak, and we will unmute your line. Again, *9 on your keypad. Not seeing anyone raise their hand at this time, Mr. Stacy.
Thank you. We will close the public comment and move on to the Insight Commercial Report. Randy Thomas, let's bring you up and talk about where we're at.
Okay, before we start, Mark, Kelly McDonald is on the line, and so she's on that number, and I think Ken hit *9 if there's any comment.
Yes, if there's
So I'll start. Okay. So parcels A and H, which are the apartments that are going up right now, you know, they're moving ahead as fast as they can. Their goal is to get the vast majority of the buildings up and buttoned in so that they can do the inside work, you know, when the weather changes. So you'll see these guys continue to move at a fairly quick pace. Yeah, I think there's probably 10 or 11 buildings that are up right now, and those are the multiple family product versus the ranch product that they're building. So really don't have much more than that. And they're looking for the maybe before the end of the year, some initial occupancy, but right now slated towards Q1 2021. Parcel B1, which is the first phase for Aikens. He continues to talk to tenants. We haven't really had a whole lot from Bruce lately relative to his plans on moving forward with planning. I know that he did tell me that he was planning on getting in front of the Planning Commission sometime here shortly with starting with the Ring Road. I know that also that he's had a fair amount of contacts from tenants that are in the malls that simply want to find a way to reposition themselves outside the mall. I'm not involved in every of those conversations, but that's what he has shared with me. Phase 2, nothing to discuss right now is Aikens.
Can anybody hear me?
Danny Lublin, that's your voice. Hello.
Oh, I got in. Went *6. I got in. Thank you.
You're live and we can hear you. Thank you, Dan.
Okay, I could hear everything right along for the last 25 minutes, but I've been yelling. Can you hear me? Okay, I'm in. Go ahead. Sorry to disrupt.
Go ahead, Randy.
Problem. So in part of what Aikens is buying is the northern, call it 14 acres, which is phase 2. Nothing's been done on that. That's for future development. He's got another, call it about 15 months before he's supposed to exercise that. B2, which is going to be the Granger property, still nothing from last month that I told you, after my initial discussion with them. As soon as I do know something, I'll let Mark know and then update the board at the next meeting. Parcel C, that's the hard corner of the Pontiac Trail in Haggerty. We had about a half a dozen of inquiries last month rather. Nothing that has gotten any traction with respect to any offers or whatnot. Still, the vast majority of interest is from having automotive uses on their car wash, oil change, and gas stations. And of course, I let them know that that's not what the DDA wants to see there. They see it as the gateway. Parcel D&E, that's Merrill Park. Nothing to report. There looks like that's cleaning up on its final stages. The last time I drove through with all the yards being finished and whatnot. Parcel F, which would be in the 3.9 acres in front of the township. I've traded calls with the dentist. I haven't talked to him live since the COVID started, just to gauge where his interest is. But I didn't have any inquiries in the past month on that property. Parcel G, which is Hunter Pasture, nothing to report. Nothing to report on Gilden Woods. Parcel J1, that's the 2.3 acres that we have at Oakley and Haggerty. We've had a little bit of an uptick activity, I would say, just in general, from the past couple months. More or less inquiries, people that are curious, but nothing solid that I see that's going to result in an offer. J2, that's the North Point development with the storage facility, nothing to report. Parcel K, that's the orphan parcel across the street. Last month, I reported interest from a development group that wanted to look at a mixed use with storage and possibly retail. Ball is really in their court. I left a message for them last week and again yesterday just to find out. They told us that they were going to go ahead and give us some initial drawings and potentially meet with Dave Campbell prior to entering into any formal agreements. Parcel L, we do have some information. We have had a back and forth and volley of letters of intent. Kelly McDonald from Goddard Schools is on the line right now. Mark, I'll turn it over to you at this point if you want to update the board.
Sure. Thank you, Randy. We had talked about Goddard Schools last month. We have been in discussions with them currently, we're closer on price, but we're not where we need to be. This board has directed me to get what we feel is market value for that property. And we think that there's more value than what we're seeing under the LOI. We'd originally started at 550,000. We have come down to 515, but we cannot or are working towards a mutually agreeable price and terms. What I'm really looking for is some feedback just from this board, from you to your commitment that you want this at market price, that we're prepared to hold it because we think it is worth somewhere between 525, 550. I'm not looking for a vote. I'm just looking for feedback from the group, if you have anything to say.
How far apart are you?
We're at 515. She's at 485. Came up from 425 starting.
To me, this
Mark,
sounds like
which
a fishing
picture-
excursion.
What piece was that again?
That's the piece next to Mars Deli. It was the orphan piece that was generated when we sold Merrill Park, right on Haggerty Road.
Oh, that's the small piece that we siphoned off from the Merrill Park, right?
Exactly. Nice piece of
Okay.
Haggerty frontage. Certainly, Randy? It's what, about 2.5, about 2 acres, something like that.
1.8 acres.
1.8
Right.
acres.
What type of a user is it? How does it help us?
Daycare. It's a nice
Oh,
building.
daycare.
Bringing in a high-end daycare user, and certainly helping clean up that area.
Well, what about the tax point with it? Will the tax base be equal or better than any other user?
Probably on the lower side because the daycares are not expensive build-outs comparative, but certainly better than where we're at. And obviously, tax capture over the years is a key component of the DDA.
Well, then this piece, if it's a daycare, would be able to use the Merrill Park park. It actually fits in pretty well with the back end. That'll be sort of a park area for the residents. Is that true?
That's true, Danny, but surprisingly, that was not something that interested them due to liability, I think was the reason. Was that correct, Randy?
Kelly and I spoke yesterday, whether that made sense to keep it or not. And I think at the end of the day, she probably, don't want to, or she won't want to have that connection from the park to Haggerty, but she hasn't yet tied the property up or laid it out to make that final determination. But that's kind of what we discussed yesterday.
Well, what's their bid right now? You're talking, they've offered 485. Is that it?
Yep.
The current counter back to our last counter of 515 was 485. She came up from 425 to 475 to the last round here at 485.
So you're at 485. Based on what's in behind it, I'm not opposed to even let it go for a little less, because the wrong thing in there might not be as good for the area with what you're creating in behind.
Certainly have considered that, Danny. Jim Gotts, what's your opinion on this?
This initial offer here and the revision appears to be kind of a quasi-fishing experiment.
Fair enough. We feel that market value, Randy, you have said 525, 550. You think
we've had offers at 525, and we also had an offer at 550, the full price, in the past. So
I don't think we need to be anxious to let this go. The area is only going to improve as more is developed.
Thank you, Susan.
Randy, why did those two other offers not pan out, the 550 and the 525?
The first one.
Let me put something else in there. I don't know, Randy, is the market fairly strong for commercial? Or what we're talking about that land being used for?
Yeah, Danny, since this whole pandemic, has gone on, we have not seen, any market corrections yet for land, land values. I don't see, any negative impact based on what's going on, with development, from a negative standpoint on land values. We're so early in this right now, it's hard to tell you if there is going to be impact to that or not, but so far we haven't seen it. Other aspects.
Here's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at if we have to hold the land for 2, maybe 3 years to get an extra $50,000, I think we're losers.
Oh, I
because the tax base during the 1 or 2 years is worth the $50,000.
Well, I agree with Susan. There is no rush to sell. And I agree with Susan, the whole area will be improved substantially. So why do we are rushing to sell if we don't get the price that we want?
And remember, Danny, this is non-taxable because we're a government entity, so you don't have the carrying costs like a normal deal would. That's why you're always a little bit more flexible on normal deal. That's what kills it. Steve Motto, what do you think?
Well, that's why I was asking what happened to the other deals. I just sort of want to get a feel for what happened there.
Yeah. So Steve, about, I'm going to say probably 2.5 years ago, we had a group that was looking to acquire the DDA property, which they offered full price. And there was a building next door, since we had sold in the interim, there was a building next door that they were trying to acquire to assemble the two parcels. They were unable to come to an agreement with that group. Therefore, for them to do what they wanted to do, it no longer made sense. And if you recall, we had a car wash operator. Their offer was at $525. We had a signed letter of intent with him. We didn't go to the full purchase agreement because we wanted him to go through the conceptual site plan review with Dave Campbell in the Planning Commission. And the Planning Commission, did not give the developer any warm and fuzzies, and therefore he walked.
Okay. Has the potential buyer here presented any financial case for the number? Have they said, look, we can't make it work if we're paying that much? Here's what our projections are. Do they have any kind of spreadsheets or anything like that?
The buyer's on the line here. If you want, she can answer that.
Yeah. Do you have any pro formas? I don't know. I can't see her. Maybe she's.
I have what I did. I have provided comps of sales that were in the market. I don't think they negatively impact the property, in my opinion, of doing this on a daily basis. But she's drawn her conclusion as to where she thinks value is, honestly.
All right. With that being said, I think I got a good understanding, and we will continue on with the process and see where it goes. I certainly wanted to bring this to your attention. This is not for a vote, nothing along those lines, but wanted to bring this out today. Randy, I'll let you finish up with your Insight Commercial report.
Okay, relatively simple. The two parcels, parcel M and parcel N. Those are the retained DDA within the 5 in main development. And, we're just kind of taking names and numbers until we're able to deliver that, as Bruce is not yet prepared on his phase 1 for us to deliver at least one of the pads. That's my update.
Thank you, Randy. Any questions for Randy?
No, nobody can hear me, so no.
Fantastic. With that being said, Randy, I'll move on to the update on the director's report. Randy has covered the majority of things that we need to talk about on the developers. However, I do have one other issue with Merrill Park. You'll remember, and this is really an HOA issue, but I want to get the board's opinion again. Last year, we had committed to providing $1,000 towards Merrill Park doing their lighting purchase for all the Christmas lights. I received a note from their director saying that they're going to be doing it again this year and they want to do more lights. They feel that it was such a success last year. If you remember, Merrill Park's front entry looked absolutely stunning. They have requested that we participate again in the purchase of the lights since they're going to be adding significantly more. And I think that is reasonable. They had felt, again, if we could come up with $1,000 contribution, that would be something that would assist them. This is not a DDA issue. This is an HOA issue. But I just wanted to get this board's opinion if we should participate again with Merrill Park to do the lighting in the front of their development.
I'm in front of participation.
Thank you, Jim. Susan? Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Well, seeing as how, we're still fairly sizable stakeholder in the HOA, I think $1,000 is probably a small amount to put forth for all the goodwill that generated last year.
And remember, it's the HOA money that's being spent. It's not DDA money, which is
Right.
positive.
Right.
Okay.
So, I'm in favor of doing it again.
Wonderful. Does anyone have any negative opinions on it? Or should I go ahead and make sure that happens? With that being said, I'm not hearing any negative opinions. I will deal with that. MTG judgments, we do not have any currently. However, I will make you aware that we do have a couple of significant cases that are working their way through the tax tribunal. The standard big box stores are complaining about their taxes. Molly and I have discussed that. And the movie theater. So we will keep you aware once we see what those numbers come through at, but we do not have any of those right now. We are working on the 2021 HOA budget. We're going to go through our budget today. It will come in the same as last year or very similar. Remembering that now we're only 10% approximately of the HOA, it significantly reduces our carry costs. All dues are current. All tax forms are submitted. Last month, we did have a light pole knockdown at the roundabout. It turns out that the driver does not have insurance. So we will be working with the prosecutor attempting to get restitution. We do know who did it. There was a traffic ticket issued. And we'll be looking to see what we can do to get back as much as we possibly can. For those of you who have had a chance, I'm sure you've noticed that the landscaping is looking better. We do have the sprinkler systems running for the majority. I have included all of the sprinkler bills. I think the total was about $15,000 so far this year, getting it up and running. Significantly higher than usual, but we had to replace a $4,000, what was the word? It just popped out of my head. The sprinkler component that does the different zones. Controller, exactly. Thank you, sir. That was about $4,000. Once you get into the commercial grade, they get very expensive very quickly. And we did have some digging on site that we had to do to fix main lines that were broken. So landscaping is looking better. We received the quote for Phragmites treatment. You'll remember last fall, we had the Phragmites treated on site. They will be coming back again this year. That is a $13,500 bill that the HOA will be paying. I have already received calls from residents saying, what are you going to do about Phragmites again this year because they're coming back? We knew it was a multi-year process, so we will be working on that. I will sign that quote shortly. Irrigation, as I said, is on, and we have paid for that. That summarizes the director's report with the HOA items. Any questions from the board on that? With that being said, we'll move on to attorney's report. Tom Roush.
Yes, thank you, Mark. Things continue slower on the law end as they have been the last couple of months. I have been consulting with Mark and Randy on the Goddard School letter of intent, and we'll continue to do that as we move forward. But in the meantime, things have remained relatively quiet, which I guess is a good thing in some respects. I'll answer any questions anyone has, but there wasn't much to talk about.
Thank you, Tom. If anyone has any questions, we will make Tom available to answer. Do we have Matt Schwanitz on the line?
No, I have not seen him or heard from him today, Mark.
Okay. The engineering would be very similar to the attorney's report. I apologize. I'm not sure exactly what happened to him today. He has been providing some backup for the LOI on certain issues that we're dealing with. And if you do have any questions, get a hold of me and I will get those to him. Planning Director, Mr. Campbell, you're up next, item 7.
I don't know if I have anything to update beyond my departmental report dated August 12th. I noted in there that the Planning Commission did make a recommendation to the Township Board to amend the zoning ordinance specific to 84 Lumber and their efforts to retrofit 3 properties in the Homestead Industrial Park subdivision, which is on the west side of Martin Road in your DDA district. There's a provision in the zoning ordinance right now that says you can have a lumber yard on property zoned industrial, but not if that property is within the DDA. And since there's very few DDA properties zoned industrial anymore, with the exception of a few properties down along Maple Road, the Planning Commission recommended the Township Board take away that provision. So that would provide a path to 84 Lumber to submit their conditional rezoning agreement to rezone those properties in the industrial park from their current zoning, which is TLM, Technology and Light Manufacturing, rezone them to industrial so that they can have a outdoor lumber yard on those properties. Other than that, that's the only thing that's come up beyond what was in my report.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Do we have questions for Dave?
Yeah, Dave, was there anything specific in motion with the hospital property on Maple Road?
Nothing that I am plugged into, Mr. Lublin. I don't know if Mr. Thomas has any insights as the broker who's marketing that property, but nothing's come my way recently.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome.
With that being said, we will move on from the Planning Director's report to item number 8, 2020 DDA Budget Amendment and Advance. It's always that time of year for budget processing. What I'd like to do is to first walk you through the amendment worksheet for 2020, because then it ties directly into our 2021 budget. Everyone can see under our 2020 budget amendment worksheet, revenues are coming in slightly better than forecast. We were at $1,650,000. We're going to be at $1,656,000 as our projection, with interest income being higher than projected. Proceeds from sale of property being lower. Obviously, with the COVID-19 crisis and the fact that Bruce was not breaking ground this year, we had projected selling $1 million worth of property. We do not foresee that happening. between now and the close of the calendar year. This brings us down to total revenues of $1,680,000, less expenditures. Expenditures are on track. We have lowered our expected costs for the forecasted 2020 budget for the administrative assistant from down to 8,000. We had certainly 3 months worth of layoff and COVID issues. So we feel that will be enough to get us through to the end of the year. In addition, we have lowered our legal fees due to the fact that we did not have the projected closings and expenses associated with that to $60,000 for a forecast. Everything else, I think, stays in line with where we were at. The HOA fees dropping to $13,395. That is, the balance has already been paid, so that is a hard number. We have our principal and interest payments, giving total expenditures of $2.5 million, which gives us a net revenue over for 2020 of a negative $860,000. If you turn to the next page, you'll see that we have a cash advance that I will be going in to the township on the next budget meeting, requesting a cash advance of $1 million. Our current cash balance was $2,231,000 as of 7/31. Balance of summer capture is $1 million, less operating expenses through 12/31 forecast. Our buffer of $250,000. Our debt payments due October 1st, debt service required. The shortfall gives us a $612,000 shortfall. We feel very comfortable requesting the $1 million. We had originally budgeted township advances for 2020 of $2 million, but it looks like we only need $1 million based on the way the year is shaking out. With that said, I would request two things from this board for the 2020 budget. I need a approval and a vote for the budget amendments for 2020 and also for the cash advance. If I could have someone do that, that would be helpful.
For the amendment and cash advance.
Second.
Okay, let's open it up to questions on the 2020 budget amendment worksheet and questions on the cash advance. This will be going to Township Board on 8/25. Hearing no questions.
Mark, hold on. Did our interest rate go up appreciably for the following year?
No, Danny, remember that we locked those in. We are not in variable interest rate environment anymore.
I see. Okay.
We did have higher interest income, but it's going to be irrelevant next year because we will have minimal assets invested, but we locked in our interest rate, so that helped us significantly from a long-term projection side. Short-term, we gave up some variable interest rates that we could have probably made a little bit of money on this year, but over the long term, it was way too risky for the township to take that position.
And by long term, you mean how many years?
Molly, those are locked in through when?
I'm sorry, you speak up. What ends when?
Oh, talking about the interest rates for the bond indebtedness. It's through 2034, and we know exactly what the rates are going to be, correct?
The rates are locked, and yes, the last payments are in 2034.
And Dan, I do have a schedule here right now. We owe $55 million in principal through 2034. Our interest is projected at just under $15 million for a total debt of $70 million. We have outstanding 14,650,000 of principal and accrued interest of $1.2 million with the township. So that's 15 million before we do any advance here.
Okay, that's good, because if interest rates start to go up, which I anticipate will eventually,
Yep.
We're locked in, so we're pretty safe then.
Agreed.
Yes.
That was a key component of why we locked them in.
Got it. Okay, good enough.
Any other
Thank
questions?
you again.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, Missy, can you call a roll call vote for both of those issues?
It was one motion, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Gotts,
Aye.
Stelker,
Aye.
Hoy,
Aye.
Smith,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Lublin,
Aye.
Merkin,
Aye.
Winkler,
Aye.
Meta.
Aye.
Thank you. Let's move on to the 2021 Commerce Township DDA budget worksheet, proposed 2021. You'll see that under revenues, we are projecting tax capture to increase slightly. This is based on a historical collection rate at 99%, no increase projected, but we have had some build out. The MTT decisions currently pending will be the biggest issue that we will be facing next year. So we will have to play with those once they come in. We have no control over that, but we are proposing $1,715,000 for the tax capture revenue for 2021. 10,000 in MTT charges. Interest income dropping to 4,000. Again, interest rates have been declining, and also our account balances for 2021 will be significantly lower, giving us total revenues of $1,716,000. Expenditures, keeping expenditures in check will be a significant issue for 2021. Director's fee and admin fee, keeping those the same as 2020 original budgeted. Attorney's fees, and let me explain to you how this is all going to wrap in. We do not know what's going to happen with the closing on Bruce's property next year. In theory, he's supposed to close mid-November.
No.
I'm sorry. He's supposed to close mid-November, but we do not know what's going to happen with the COVID crisis. We have had to take the position that we don't even know if it is going to close, so that we can make sure that the township has enough money and we're in a financial position to support the DDA. So we have looked at this and said, okay, if it closes, great. If it doesn't, what happens? And that's really what 2021 proposed is. No sales, no closing on Bruce, which then would, of course, drive down the attorney fees. Now, my best case scenario is Bruce calls me tomorrow and says, I need phase 2 immediately. Tom Roush, we put you to work like a dog. We get this thing closed, spend a bunch of legal fees, engineering, but I don't see that happening right now. Obviously, with the COVID situation, the issues with hotels, movie theaters, across the board, too much uncertainty. So we have to look at it from a negative position, no closing, limited activity next year. So we have brought down what we project to do on legal fees. And if we're wrong, we'll increase it, but it'll be a good thing because it means we'll be selling property. Accounting, auditing, we've kept proposed at 4,000. Township administrative kept the same. No significant changes as we move through here for fees that we can keep in check Now, our key numbers next year revolve around interest payments, projected $1.9 million, total expenditures at 2.3, net over under of 680,000 under. You'll see that we are projecting on the next page a proposed advance of $4.5 million. 2021 cash advance worksheet. Our estimated cash flow 12/31/20 will be 630,000 with our additions of winter and all other income, less deductions, a buffer for January expenses. Total available cash for the year is $1.8 million. All debt service is $6 million. Shortfalls $4.2 million. Proposed advance $4.5. That's how it ties in together. That is in my opinion, a worst case scenario. Nothing closes, nothing sells. It is something that the township needs to be aware of and be prepared for, because it could happen. I just don't know what is going to happen with the markets next year. We're in no position to give away the property. We don't have to. We are significantly better off riding this storm out rather than looking at it and saying, let's do a sale that, just to generate income. We don't have to do that. Let's do it the right way. And this is my 2021 proposed budget. With that said, let me open it up to questions. Any questions on the 2021 proposed budget? All right, hearing none, I do need a motion to approve our 2021 budget proposal to take to the township board, remembering that this goes to the township board, then they ultimately approve it, then it comes back to you guys again. So if I could have a motion to approve the 2000.
Motion to approve the 2021 budget.
Support.
Second. I'll support.
Do we have any questions? With
Mark, one question. You left the impression that we could have a shortfall and not be able to make some payment. Is that because the township will not and may not have enough money to lend us to make the payment?
Not at all. Matter of fact, the township's reserve fund for this, Molly, do you happen to know what the number is off the top of your head? 10, 12 million, what last time I asked? Something along those lines?
Well, the township then is strong, you're saying?
Absolutely.
Okay, then I got the feeling that there was some question as to not be able to make some payment as a result of either the DDA or the township, but it's not the township.
Not the case at all. The
purpose
of this is to show the township worst case scenario, so they're prepared for it. That's my opinion, that we always show them what's the biggest check they'd have to write. That's what they want to know, and that's what this shows.
That's good. I'm glad to hear we're strong.
Yep. And the township does have the reserves for this, remembering that they've been setting aside money and are projecting to ultimately have approximately 40 million loaned to the DDA by 2034 for this. Any other questions?
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment. I just want to say, Mark, that your conservative approach to budgeting is greatly appreciated.
Thank you. With that said, let's go ahead and Missy, can we call a vote on those issues?
Sure. Lublin,
Yes.
Gotts,
Aye.
Spelker,
Aye.
Smith,
Yes.
Scott,
Aye.
Merkin,
Aye.
Winkler,
Mr. Winkler, please press star 9 on your keypad to unmute your line.
Matta,
Aye.
Hoy,
Aye.
do we want to wait?
Mr. Winkler, one more time, if you could press star 6 on your keypad, that will unmute your line.
All right, well, I think we had enough votes to pass anyway, Missy, so thank you all for your support on that. I will take this to the Township Board next week. With that being said, Finance Committee, obviously, we've been working on the 2021 budget and are preparing for the August 25th Town Board meeting. I will report back to you after that. Public Relations, Jose, anything to add for Public Relations?
Well, as I said in the previous DDA meeting, the Public Relations Committee is working and coordinating with the Detroit Institute of Arts the 2021 Inside Out program. The Public Relations Committee is hopeful that someday we will be able to find a vaccine for COVID-19 and we will be able to keep doing all the activities that the Public Relations Committee does. We don't know what's going to happen with the school system, if they are going to start or not. So I try to reach all the art teachers of World Lake School through emails. And of course, trying to coordinate the K-12 art exhibition is useless because we don't know when the schools are going to open. And we do know that we cannot have approximately 1,000 people in our community library until, as I said, we can find a vaccine. So as well as other things that the Public Relations Committee is committed to do, those things are right now in a wait and see. We are expecting to find soon the vaccine. So while we don't find a vaccine, there are many activities that we cannot control. So that's the report for this month.
Thank you very much, sir. We're all kind of in the same position. Marketing Committee, David?
No, coming in late, I apologize for that. I have nothing more to add than what Randy eloquently already did. Thank you.
Perfect. We'll move on to item 11, the approval of warrants, carryovers, add-ons, revenue, and expenditure report. Can I have a motion for that?
Motion to approve.
And a second?
Go ahead, Dan.
Any questions? With that said, can I have a roll call vote? Missy, please?
Can we repeat who made the motion and who seconded it? Sorry.
Well, I tried to make the motion.
Okay. All
Gott's
right.
made.
Got
And
it.
who seconded it?
I've got it. Spelker. Okay. Gotts,
Aye.
Spelker,
Aye.
Smith,
Yes.
Scott,
Aye.
Lublin,
Yes.
Merkin,
Hi.
Winkler, Matta,
Aye.
Hoy.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion passes. Other matters, item 12. Do we have any other matters? Hearing none. I will then ask for approval to end the meeting. Our next meeting is Tuesday, September 15th, 2020 at 12 noon. I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
And I heard a second. Missy, can you call that one?
I know
Second.
I've got Lublin,
Aye.
I don't know who seconded it, sorry.
Oh, second. Okay.
Sounded like Hoy.
Okay, Hoy,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Merkin,
If the first one was Gotts, I'm
it's all good. Merkin,
Hi.
Winkler. Matta,
Aye.
Spelker,
Aye.
Smith,
Yes.
adjourned.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too. Take care, everybody.
Have a good one now. See ya.
Thank you, everyone.
Aye.
Thank you,
Bye
guys.
now.